All right. Before we played a little Twisted Sister, I played some Van Halen.
Yes.
Well, apparently the former manager of Van Halen, Noel Monk, M-O-N-K, is writing or has released a book talking about his time with Van Halen as their manager. It's called Running with the Devil.
Yeah, I have it on Audible, actually. I just haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, did you buy it, or was it?
No. I used somebody else's account.
Oh, but what my point is that it was, you didn't get it sent to you.
No. I really don't want to say I'm using their account. A friend of ours,
yes,
that has an Audible account, had this book, so
okay.
I'm listening to it.
All right, excellent. Well, apparently the marriage between Eddie Van Halen and Valerie Bertinelli that came to an end after about 20 years or so.
Right.
The day of their wedding had some issues.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. Hard to believe. Both, or mostly Eddie. He was a stand-up guy.
Right.
He was just a happy-go-lucky guitarist. The day 21-year-old Valerie Bertinelli walked down the aisle with rock god Eddie Van Halen, who was 25 at the time, was just another work day for the band manager, Noel Monk.
All right.
The couple's wedding day, April 11th of 1981, was just like any other public performance by Eddie and his Van Halen bandmates.
Okay.
Monk writes in his new book, Running with the Devil, and he was there to keep the notoriously rowdy rockers in check.
Yeah, man.
So don't get out of hand, pal.
Yeah, pal.
This is a wedding. This is a sacred vow. No drinking and partying and fucking chicks.
Right.
Unless, of course, you're Valerie. There was particular concern about how frontman David Lee Roth, who was competitive with Eddie and had always bragged that he was going to marry a movie star, would behave once the booze started flowing.
Uh-oh.
Monk was also worried about Eddie's escalating substance abuse. In the months leading up to the wedding, he started doing cocaine, in addition to typical habit of drinking and smoking weed every day.
Wow.
Monk had asked Eddie to exercise restraint at the wedding, and he said, "I'll try to stay as straight as I can."
Yeah, pal.
Yeah, I'm getting married today. I'll try to abstain from the weed and the coke.
Yeah.
After the ceremony at St. Paul's Catholic Church in Westwood, California, Monk navigated the newlyweds through the ravenous throngs of paparazzi, waiting outside, breathing a sigh of relief once they were safely ensconced in their limo. But once the cars started arriving at the reception at the historic Gray Hall Mansion in Beverly Hills, Eddie and Val were nowhere to be found.
Oh, my God.
Just 8 months earlier, the One Day at a Time star was like millions of other young women at the time enthralled by Eddie Van Halen's good looks and guitar prowess.
Wow.
That guy can navigate his fingers on that keyboard. I bet he can lick some pussy.
Or at least finger bang it.
Exactly. She noticed his picture while looking at her brother's copy of the band's album, Women and Children First. When Van Halen played her hometown in Shreveport, Louisiana in August of 1980, Valerie used her connections to get backstage.
Wow.
I guess she's got a little crush on Edward, the show's promoter told Monk that night. It was kind of cute to see them together. They were both clearly nervous and somewhat reticent.
Oh, please.
They were reticent.
Please. You know damn well Eddie Van Halen sees this fucking hot-ass young Valerie Bertinelli.
21 years old.
Ugh. He fucking probably halfway played the gig just to get that pussy.
Exactly.
Because she was hot as fuck in those days.
Sure she was.
Jesus, she was hot.
Yeah, and she's still not bad looking now.
Oh, she looks good for whatever. What is she, about 75 now?
Well, she was 21 and 81, and we're in 2017, so she's what?
60?
60?
Roughly.
Yeah. This struck me as a sign of genuine chemistry. After all, Valerie had spent most of her life in front of cameras or audiences, and she was completely comfortable with all the manner of public interaction. And yet here she was, stammering and blushing like a schoolgirl in the presence of the captain of the football team.
Yeah.
And Edward? He was a guy who went on stage every night and performed like a wizard in front of thousands of adoring fans. In the presence of this young woman, however, the rock star facade melted away.
Please. Not buying this at all, are you?
It's hard to say. Though they had a fairy tale beginning, their courtship was a rocky one. 3 months into the relationship, Eddie was slapped with a paternity lawsuit from a groupie who claimed he had fathered her child.
Probably true.
Valerie's father, an ex-boxer who managed an auto plant and exuded on-air toughness, phoned Monk, and he said when he found out about it, "Noel, what the hell are we going to do? These two kids are supposed to be getting married in a few months." Even though Monk was entirely sure Eddie wasn't the father, I wonder why he was sure about that.
Who knows?
He convinced him to take a paternity test, which turned out to be a smart move because it came back negative.
Well, you are not the father.
You are not the father, and she's a lying whore.
What a bitch.
Yeah, fuck that groupie. I mean, don't fuck that groupie.
You may have fucked her, but at least you didn't nut in her.
Yeah.
Nice work, Edward.
Exactly. You followed my instructions implicitly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. On their wedding day, Monk found the couple in one of the mansion's upstairs bathrooms, immersed in a scene of pain and embarrassment, he writes.
Right.
Pain and embarrassment. Eddie was huddled over the toilet bowl while Valerie, still in her white gown, because she was so pure, held his hair back. The groom had managed to become intoxicated in the short time since the ceremony ended, and now tears were streaming down the bride's face.
Oh, no.
This guy's fucked up again, and I married him.
Yeah. The $100 million he has in the bank, that means nothing.
Monk stayed for a few minutes to make sure that they were okay, while briefly considering telling the few hundred guests who were waiting downstairs that the reception was off.
Oh, boo.
Valerie, however, was surprisingly strong. She was a nasty one. She coaxed Edward to his feet. Get up, honey. Get up. People are waiting. Wipe that vomit off your face.
Get those chunks out of your hair. Let's get out there.
Exactly. She cleaned him up. She straightened his tie, and she helped him comb his vomit-covered hair.
Ugh.
In her eyes, I saw not disappointment. Where's the disappointment bumper?
I don't have disappointed.
What?
I don't have disappointed.
Oh, damn it.
I don't have it.
What good are you?
No.
That sounds gay.
God.
You should have that.
I don't have disappointed. I'm looking through all the banks. I don't have it.
All right.
Disappointed!
Thank you. Send that one over and I'll add it to bank number 7.
All right. So what he saw in her eyes was not disappointment. Gotta play it again.
Disappointed!
But compassion and love.
Oh, how sweet.
They emerged from the bathroom hand in hand and made a glorious entrance into the grand ballroom, where a crowd where a crowd and a family and friends, an assortment of Hollywood stars burst into applause.
Oh, that's great.
10 years later, in 1991, the couple had a son, Wolfgang Van Halen.
Right.
But Valerie and Eddie eventually separated in 2001, and they finalized their divorce in 2007.
Shove it in your ass.
Exactly. So there you are, the rocky relationship of the Van Halens.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get that guy on the show because he is actually doing a lot of press.
Okay.
The book is pretty damn good. Not going to lie. Not bad.
All right. So potentially we will be speaking with the former Van Halen manager, Noel Monk.
Yeah, we're going to try to.
Potentially.
Yep.
Noel Monk.
Noel Monk.
He's a monk.
Yeah, man.
And what does he do now?
Probably lives off of the fucking money he made managing those dickheads.
He lives off the money from his Van Halen residuals as the manager.
That's right.
All
He
right.
probably made a lot.
I would like to think so.
You got to think that he made quite a bit.
Yeah, but these people never tend to, invest or save their money. They just seem to blow through it like it's never going to end.
Sure. Chris and Neely, have you ever met Eddie Van Halen?
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have in 2013.
Yeah, we met him 4 years ago.
Yep.
We were very fortunate to be backstage in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie came out and basically said hello and all that kind of stuff. So, yes, we did.
Around,
Yeah.
ate a hot dog.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
didn't meet anybody else, though. Nobody else from the Van Halen camp came out or would.
Wolfie did. Wolfie was out.
Just very briefly.
Yeah, for a minute or two.
But
He was out
Eddie
for-
came out and took pictures with the guys from Rat and took pictures with the guys from Dokken and, kind of hang out a little bit.
It was really interesting to see all these guys that have had different levels of fame just completely. Now, and they all grew up with Eddie.
And they knew Eddie.
They knew Eddie, but even so, they still acted like it was Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, they played a very subservient role.
Yeah.
To Eddie's presence.
Even though they all came up together right at the same time on the LA Strip, they all treated Eddie like he was a god.
Exactly.
It was really interesting to see that.
It was very strange.
Yep.
I took the photos for Sean McNabb, our friend Sean McNabb, and John Levin with Eddie.
Right.
And I took the photos for Stephen Piercy and the guys from Rat with Eddie.
Right.
So I took a lot of those photos.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very cool.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I agree with you that it was kind of weird that even though some of these guys actually knew Eddie on a personal level, because even, Stephen Piercy,
yeah,
who basically started Rat on the influence of David Lee Roth and Eddie,
right?
He hung out with the Van Halens back in the day of playing at Gazzari's or the Whiskey in West Hollywood.
Sure.
And even he was like very, subservient to the Van Halens.
Yeah. It was weird to see, but it was cool.
Yeah. So that was a nice little getaway for all of us, I think.
Yeah, it was. That was a fun time.
I agree. All right. Well, speaking of Van Halen, have a Van Halen song you'd like to hear?
I'm gonna go with God damn it! Why can't I think of one that's not a Sammy one? Just
you're not John.
I know
You're not John, man. You're not our good friend Sammy Lee from Red Rain. Those guys are Van Halen aficionados.
I know. Why don't we just go with something easy like "Dance the Night Away"?
All right.
Fair warning. Women and children. I don't even know what it's on. I'm so not a Roth guy.
All right. How about one of my favorite ones?
What?
I like this one. I'm going to play this one. The Cradle Will Rock.
All right, that works.
I like that. We got a call here. Halen Kill, caller, you're on the air.
Halen Kill. Should I share my Eddie Van Halen story where he gave me money?
He gave you money?
Yeah, he did.
All right, I want to hear this. Now make it good, Tim, because I don't want this to be a big disappointment. So, Eddie Van Halen gave you money.
Yeah.
All right, tell the story. Make it interesting.
Okay, well, Van Halen were touring Australia for the first time in 1998 for the VH3 record.
So and, this was with Gary Sharon?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
yep.
So this is Van Halen Mark III.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yep.
Go ahead.
And I used to do the thing, I used to do nutty things to try and get noticed back then.
Wait a minute. What kind of nutty things did you do, Tim?
Well, I mean, I would just try and do things that not a lot of other people did.
Like what?
Well, okay. Well, in Canberra, where I used to live, there's like this. It's called the Bruce Stadium. It's like the biggest kind of arena that area's got. It only holds like 6,000 people or whatever. And so I knew that Van Halen were coming to Canberra, and of course I had a ticket and all that stuff. So I said, well, why don't I? And I knew where the bands used to take the Taragos into go into the arena, right? So I thought, well, why don't I sit outside and try and play outside and see if I can give my demo tape to anybody?
Wait a minute. So what were you doing outside? You were just standing there, or were you doing something?
No, I was playing.
What were you playing? What were you playing?
Keyboards and singing.
What size
outside.
of a? Wait a minute. Let's make this story interesting, Tim. So what kind of a keyboard is mobile enough to where you can drag it over to the entrance to a stadium?
Casio.
Heaps of them. Yeah, you just, there's heaps of mobile keyboards.
All right, I'm just asking the question, Tim. I'm not an expert.
No. Like for example, lots of Yamahas are like that. Pretty much all my keyboards are like that.
Okay, so you can actually carry this thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and what do you use? What do you use to amplify it?
I just use like a little. Well, when I used to busk, I used to use just a little Ashton, little busking amp.
Okay, so you're carrying this amp and this keyboard, and you set it up, and you're at the entrance to this stadium. Okay, go ahead.
Well, not the entrance to the stadium.
To the backstage area.
Yeah, where the Taragos went down.
Okay.
The band's down. Yeah.
All right.
And so I'm outside there playing and.
Well, who are you playing to? Who's back there to where you're playing to? Who's back there to hear you?
Well, just all the road crews and whoever's walking past and all that kind of stuff.
And they're looking at this guy and they don't go, what the fuck is that guy doing back here? Why are you playing this keyboard out in the middle of nowhere? And how do you power this thing?
Battery.
Okay, I'm just asking. I just want to know. So you're
that's all right.
You're battery powered. You got this keyboard. You got this little amp. You're at the entrance
and a vocal mic and whatever.
And so you're just singing and playing your heart out at the backstage entryway to the stadium. And even though nobody might be there, you're just playing and singing and hoping to be noticed by somebody, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But
all right.
What was really
for
cool
money?
that day
We'll do anything.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Well, not anything.
All right, go ahead.
But what was really cool is there was a big football game going on at the other arena that's next to where Van Halen was playing.
Okay.
So my case up where people threw money, and I made lots of money through the people walking past from the football stadium.
All right, so you
Case
killed
funds for money.
you killed two birds with one stone.
That's right, paid rehearsal, mate. I used to call it paid rehearsal.
All right, so go ahead.
But anyway, the Taragos roll in, and Michael Anthony sees me, and so does Gary Sharon, and they kind of wave, and then Eddie. I didn't see Alex, but Eddie's Tarago comes in, and he looks at me, and then the Taragos go into the stadium, and then after the tour manager or whoever it is drops the band off, he brings back the Tarago and gets out and gives me $40 and said, "That's from Edward Van Halen."
So Eddie didn't give it to you. The tour manager gave it to you.
Yeah, well, obviously
Tim, they are really saying that you're way over and your management needs you out of here now. Jeez, man, what a shitty story.
I thought Eddie came out personally and gave you money, but it was so Eddie basically said to the tour manager, "Hey, on your way back out, that shaky guy playing that shitty keyboard, he looks like he could use a little hand up. Here, throw him a couple of bucks, will you?"
I doubt that even happened. The guy just was trying to make Van Halen look good in case some Australian news captured him or something. He would say, "Yeah, Eddie gave me $40."
I'm just telling the story, dude.
That sounds gay.
Anyway, I got to get back to study now. Hail and kill.
Hey, dude, you're the one that called up and fucking wrecked what was going on.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Norton. He's so on point tonight.
He is. He's absolutely fantastic.
Unlike Tim with that story, that was horrible.
I was trying to make it interesting, too.
Why?
Because
it was Tim. You knew it wasn't going to be.
I know, but I was trying to set it up to be interesting.
And the moral of the story is the bus driver gave him $40.
Right.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for wasting 10 minutes of show to get to that fucking conclusion. Jesus. Holy shit.
All right, well, let's play a couple of tunes. This one comes from the Women and Children first. This is Van Halen with "And the Cradle Will Rock" exclusively here
on your classic metal show.